Good evening and welcome. I'm Selena Mead with the Vsb TV 11 Evening News on this Monday, June the 30th. And our top story tonight, Profiles of Bermuda. The polling company has revealed that a poll taken between March 20th and May the 18th predicted that there would have been a dead heat if an election had been held during that period. The poll actually claimed that 44% would have voted for the opposition PLP and 37% for the ruling OBA, but that because of the margin of error, plus or minus 5%, it should have been ruled a dead heat. Of particular interest is the comparison that the poll makes with the same survey conducted 2 years ago, prior to the election. At that time, it claimed the PLP had 30% of the overall support, the OBA had 39%, and 23% were undecided. The 2014 poll indicates that the PLP gain of 14% took much of its power from those who were undecided 2 years prior, while the OBA has fallen back 2%. In an accompanying poll, 32.5% of those surveyed thought the recommendations of the Sage Commission report were likely to improve Bermuda's economy, while 11.7% thought it would likely make it worse. 30% were not sure or had not read the report, while 25.1% felt there would be no change. In other news, the first ever Corrections Week kicked off today at City Hall with the reading of the proclamation by Premier Michael Dunkley. Commissioner of Corrections, Lieutenant Colonel Edward Lamb, says the aim of the department is not only to empower inmates to be responsible and productive citizens, but also enlighten the public on the dedication and professionalism of the 200-plus staff.
It is very clear to me that the wider perspective in the community needs to improve as to what we do in corrections, what reality is as opposed to myth within the Department of Corrections. And everyone has their own views about how inmates ought to be handled. And those views are really shaped by the personal interaction or lack thereof with someone who may be incarcerated. So one of the aims this week is to really, as you say, enlighten the wider community as to what we do for the community. Oftentimes we're considered to be the forgotten stepchild in the judicial system, and that's not entirely fair. We do a great deal in trying to transform lives, and everyone has their own opinion as to how we ought to go about doing that. But the reality is that a great deal of effort is given by the wide cross-section of our staff members who really genuinely try to change people's lives.
And unlike the old days when we were called prison guards, these men and women are professional people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the key core values in our department is professionalism. And we pride ourselves in being men and women of professionalism and honor and integrity and honor and unity, all those things. And all those core values we bring to bear in order to discharge our duties that this country expects of us. So yeah, very much so we pride ourselves on being professional men and women.
Tomorrow we'll hear from the Commissioner again, who highlights the artistic talents of the inmates in Bermuda's correctional facilities. The OBA is getting stick from the opposition for freezing pensions for retired government workers after allowing hospital costs for seniors to rise 10%, health insurance to increase 8%, and vehicle licensing and passport fees by even more. Deputy Leader Derek Burgess said the indefinite freezing of pensions showed an insensitivity towards retirees who had worked hard for Bermuda for decades. He went on to claim the OBA had made this move without consultation between the Pensions and Benefits Working Group and the Ministry of Finance. Despite claims to the contrary, today's action makes it clear that Premier Dunkley and the OBA do not believe in shared sacrifice, said Mr. Burgess. They believe in sharing tax breaks with the private sector while inflicting sacrifice on middle-class Bermudians and our seniors. Closing arguments were heard today in Supreme Court in regards to the murder trial of Walter Gardner and Rikai Dickinson, who are both charged with the murder of Jamaican national George Lynch. VSB's Julia Smatt was in court today and has the details.
34-year-old Walde Gardner and 29-year-old Rakai Dickinson have denied the premeditated murder of George Lynch on May 5th of 2010. They further denied charges of using a firearm to commit an indictable offense. In closing arguments, defense lawyer Charles Richardson, who is representing Walde Gardner, told the jury that if they have doubts about the defendant's guilt, they must come to a non-guilty verdict. Mr. Richardson also told the jury that the evidence against Gardner is primarily from one man who cannot be named for legal reasons. It was also pointed out to the jury that the witness had said he hadn't started using drugs until he met Gardner in 2010, but later admitted he had been using drugs for many years before that. Mr. Richardson pointed to the inconsistencies in the witness's testimony. He also pointed out to the jury that when he was on the stand, he had told the prosecution that he was on medication and felt confused. Mr. Richardson then asked the jury, "And this is a person you are supposed to trust when deciding if Walde is guilty or not?" Mr. Richardson also reminded the jury that earlier in the trial, another witness, who cannot be named for legal reasons, had testified that ordering or carrying out a shooting was not what he termed Walde's style. Mr. Richardson told the jury that if they couldn't be sure of Walde's guilt, they would have to give him the benefit of the doubt and find him not guilty. Defense lawyer Craig Attridge is representing Rakai Dickinson and addressed the jury and told them to be mindful that his defendant's life is in their hands. He told the jury that although Rakai is affiliated with the East Side Crew and has pictures of guns on his phone that were taken from the internet, it doesn't mean he carried out a murder. Mr. Attridge also told the jury that although his client had made a comment on Facebook claiming to hate snitches and is in photos holding up gun signs with his hands, that is not illegal and is not what he is on trial for. He urged the jury to find his client not guilty. I'm Julia Smatt reporting for Vsb News.
Thank you, Julia. 55 years ago, the theater boycott marked the formal end of segregation in Bermuda. Today, community figures gathered on the steps of City Hall to commemorate the occasion with the reading of a proclamation by Human Rights Commission Executive Officer Lisa Reed and comments by Glenn Fubler of Imagine Bermuda.
In terms of this celebration, we've been working over the past 2 weeks since June 15th, which would have marked the beginning of the theater boycott, reaching out to our young people. And we'll continue this theme on this coming Wednesday at Harbor Nights, in which a collaboration between the Chamber of Commerce and the Bermuda Union of Teachers, along with Imagine Bermuda, we put together dance, drama, and music to include the various parts of our community in a celebration. This particular chapter of our history, while it is thorny, it's important for us to recognize so that we know where we're going. It's not about just looking backwards, but looking to build bridges within our community so that we can take our community forward.
We live in a beautiful environment. One way to help keep it that way is to always remember your reusable grocery bag. If you forgot, you can still do your part in saving our planet by buying a Marketplace green bag for only $1.19. Not only are they good for groceries, but they're handy for many other uses. Always have your bags in sight of you or put your grocery list in one so that you don't forget your reusable bags. You and the Marketplace are helping to save the environment by choosing to reuse.
Laugh. Learn. Love. Life on Logic TV is that much better. Logic TV bundles include Internet plus access, high-definition TV, and home phone, starting at $179 with a free install. LOL. Enjoy life on Logic TV.
Bermuda is an easy way to find great discounts while discovering fun activities to do in Bermuda. Discover the best spas, restaurants, activities, services, and shops at 50% off. Sign up to Bermuda and start saving today.
Welcome back to Vsb Tv 11. The positive impact that came out of giving the Bermuda Day Parade and Heritage Month a special theme has had on the quality of the celebrations has inspired Community and Cultural Minister Wayne Scott to provide themes for the next 3 years to enable forward planning.
I think for 2015, it is Bermuda and Atlantic Garden, which actually looks at a lot of our just our heritage as, you know, as being a waterfaring people and an island, some of the boats and such. I mean, if you look at the Bermuda sloop hull design, it was pretty much the standard for transatlantic marine crossings and stuff for years. So we have a rich history, and of course the focus on a lot of our, with the gardens in there, some of our land-based stuff as well. For 2016, it's our sporting heritage. It's an Olympic year. I think that ties in really great with that. We've had some great sporting heroes. Needless to say, we have a lot of sporting events and such that are part of our heritage. So, focusing on that as a theme, especially in an Olympic year, I think would be really great. And of course, for 2017, Bermuda, the roots within, I think it's really looking at and celebrating what our roots are, diversity and the such, and let's really focus on that in a meaningful way, and just to celebrate that diversity and the significant benefit of that diversity to Bermuda.
A Green Rock representative from Bermuda, Abby Caldas, joined almost 100 representatives from 60 countries at the Foundation for Environmental Education General Assembly in Copenhagen, Denmark, earlier this month. The Foundation for Environmental Education, also known as FEE, is a non-governmental, non-profit organization and is active through its 5 environmental education programs, such as Eco Schools and Blue Flag. During the conference, which addressed environmental education as well as the education for sustainability worldwide. Global environmental leaders joined forces to create policies, determine strategies, and highlight priorities to implement in member countries. Ms. Caldas stated the organization places an emphasis on understanding its members' needs and receiving continuous feedback. The delegates participated in strategy workshops focusing on implementing environmental education into programs and discussed which priority areas to tackle.
Here are the daily markets presented by Bias. Equity markets were little changed in the last day of the quarter. U.S. Treasuries and currencies reacted on economic data in the U.S., which came in lower than forecast. The S&P 500 was little changed, capping the longest quarterly gain since 1998, as a jump in pending home sales offset weaker than forecast manufacturing data. The index closed at 1,960, down 0.04%. 14,800 shares of Bank of Butterfield traded today at the price of $1.99 per share. Other Bermuda-related stocks in the U.S. were mixed. European stocks were little changed after mixed economic data. The FTSE declined 0.2% to close at 6,744, while the DAX gained 0.18% to close at 9,833. Japanese stocks posted their biggest monthly advance since November, led by a surge in consumer finance companies. The Nikkei closed at 15,162, up 0.44%. Mexican stocks were the biggest gainer among Latin American indices. The Bolsa gained 0.57% to close at 42,735 at the end of trading, while the Brazil Bovespa was marginally up by 0.02%. U.S. Treasuries rose as a gauge of manufacturing activity fell more than forecast, signaling an uneven economic recovery in the U.S. The 10-year U.S. Treasury is currently yielding 2.52%. The dollar fell to a one-month low versus the euro as a gauge of U.S. business activity fell more than forecast. The euro is trading at 1.37, up 0.32% as of the last trade. That was a look at the daily markets presented by Bias. People and Places is next after the break.
Price Right on Mill Reach offers you warehouse shopping for bulk and value price groceries, frozen foods and health and beauty items, home furnishings, dinnerware and carpets for your bedroom, bathroom, and kitchen, bikes, toys, and activity sets for kids, teens and tweens, electronics and home and audio-visual accessories. Visit Price Right. Always something new and always something for everyone. Open 9 to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, 1 to 6 on Sundays.
Are you frustrated and confused by complex online banking systems? The quickest, easiest way to pay bills is with EasyPay.
They're very good. They're excellent. I'd recommend them all the time. EasyPay is the easy way.
The whole reason I joined EasyPay is because of what the name stands for. It's very easy to pay.
I've been using EasyPay for over 10 years. It really is an easy product to use.
Bill payment doesn't get any easier than EasyPay. Email Dal at easypay.bm or visit easypay.bm.
I just downloaded the Layer app for the Bermuda Sun, and it is so cool. You can find so many new videos, and you can watch sports and news and pictures and everything. You have to download it. It's really neat. All you have to do is put your phone over the image, and the image comes to life. You have a full video of everything. It's really, really neat.
Yes, I just downloaded the Layer, and it works pretty good.
I think it's great.
I've never seen anything like it. It was unbelievable.
Yes, I tried the app this morning, and I think it's great.
Hi, I'm Peter Juretic, host of Season to Taste. Tune in on Tuesday night during the Vsb Tv 11 News. I'll be here with Executive Chef Derek Myers from the Island Restaurant Group. He's going to be preparing this lovely pulled pork slider dish with a country slaw and find out what the Gosling's wine of the week is.
Tuesday during the Vsb TV 11 News.
Stay tuned because People and Places is next with Charles Webb.
People and Places with Charles Webb is brought to you by Big Savings Zone at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
With St. George's being designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the historic proportions of the town are already here. But what about the flora and fauna? Trudy Snaith, who is the conceptualizer of St. George's in Bloom, is here with me at the Bermuda Perfumery Gardens, just one of the many charming gardens that make up St. George's in Bloom.
The purpose of St. George's in Bloom was to show people how easy it is to make the town look beautiful by just taking an interest in gardens and flowers and different colors of things. I've noticed that when in my travels, the towns that I've visited, they're made more lively by plants and flowers and lots of colors. And knowing that St. George's had the basic groundwork for this, and a lot of the historic houses that make a good backdrop for colors, the muted colors and the colorful houses, I just felt that it was something easy to do in St. George's, particularly.
So how easy was it to get the people to get involved with this project?
It was very easy. It was very easy to get people involved. It was just like they were waiting for a reason to do it. We had a competition which sort of like encouraged people to enter, but the purpose of the competition was not really strict. It was just to get people interested. We kept the guidelines very simple so anyone could enter, from school children to casual gardeners to experienced gardeners.
So from the competition, how much attention is being paid to these gardens by the people who actually participated?
I've had people say that they participated in, I think the Garden Club had a competition in 2003, and I've had people come back and say, oh, well, we haven't done anything since then. We just had no reason to, but the St. George's in Bloom competition encouraged them to do something, and they were very happy for a reason to get into the garden again. I think a lot of people are busy with their normal lives, and they sort of put their gardening on the back burner, but most gardeners are happy for an excuse to get back in the garden.
Now, given that St. George's is an historic town, was that factored into the growing of plants and flowers?
Yes, it was. A lot of people chose to do research and discover plants that were historic plants in the context of things that would have been in gardens in keeping with the houses that they have. If, for instance, if someone had a house that was built in the 17th century, they did research to find out what kind of plants would be in the garden at that time and plant them. I think the St. George's Historical Society in particular did that, and also another lady that had Forbes's house, the garden there, historical garden.
So what do you see in the future for St. George's in Bloom?
I see a lot more involvement. Once people have seen how easy it is to become interested in the town looking nice like that, how simple it was. There aren't a lot of strict guidelines. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of experience. You just have to have a love for the beauty of what flowers can bring. We've had a lot of feedback from tourists. We've had a lot of feedback from people who have visited St. George's when we've had all these flowers in bloom in the month of May, and they've all just said it's really, really gorgeous. They love it.
I don't know about you, but I think St. George's in bloom is a blooming good idea. Here in the old town of St. George, for People and Places, I'm Charles Webb, Vsb News.
People and Places with Charles Webb has been brought to you by Big Savings Zone at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
Now at Big Savings Zone, there's the Kids Zone. See the latest bedroom ideas for tots to teens. There's a large selection of beds, bedding, all kind of furniture designed especially in mind for your child. And see the array of accessories for all ages. Big Savings Zone is the home of Ashley Furniture and Serta Mattresses in Bermuda. And the Kids Zone is only at Big Savings Zone at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
Welcome back. In sports tonight, let's hear from Earl Baisden.
The Bermuda men's under-20 national team bowed out of the CFU under-20 World Cup qualifiers in the Dominican Republic yesterday following their 0-0 draw with Antigua. Bermuda were placed in Group 2, came into their final match with all 4 teams on 3 points, but Bermuda's goal difference was -1, so they needed to win to have any chance of advancing in the competition. The challenge was also hampered by the fact that Quintonio Lima was out with a pulled hamstring, William White was out with a 2 yellow card suspension, Alonzo Parsons also out with a 2 yellow card suspension. Kaylin Mabry and Che Bringman were both out after receiving red cards in the second game of the tournament. Tyler Butterfield finished 3rd in the Ironman France, clocking a time of 8 hours, 40 minutes and 23 seconds, while Flora Duffy finished the ITU World Series Chicago in 18th place, clocking a time of 1 hour, 59 minutes and 45 seconds. On the local front, Tucker Murphy and Karen Smith were crowned the 2014 Aeon Triathlon male and female champions following racing at Southside yesterday. Murphy, who will represent Bermuda at the Commonwealth Games, was second out of the water with a time of 13:50. He then clocked the 3rd fastest bike time of 35:25 and then completed the run course in a time of 19:03, breaking the tape in a time of 1 hour, 7 minutes and 1 second. Kent Richardson was able to hold on to second place, clocking a time of 1:10:21, with Mark Robinson finishing in 3rd in a time of 1:10:22. Smith finished 5th overall with a time of 1:12:04. Laurie Orchard was the 2nd female finisher and 6th overall with a time of 1:13:33. Belinda Castry was the 3rd female finisher and 16th overall with a time of 1:18:04. Willicots took a 3-run victory over Southampton Rangers in their Premier Division cricket match at Somerset Cricket Club yesterday. Batting first, Willicots were all out for 157. Shaquille Jones was their top scorer with 38 runs, while Vernon Eve returned figures of 10 overs, 2 for 31. In reply, Southampton Rangers had reached 33 after 9 overs when an incident on the field between Southampton Rangers captain Dion Stovall and Willicots fielder Chris Douglas saw the pair needed to be separated. What was astonishing following the incident was the fact that the Willicots players left the field. After a lengthy discussion involving umpires and both coaches, the Willicots players returned to the field and the match resumed. Willicots eventually bowled Southampton Rangers all out for 154, 3 runs short of their target. Stovall was their top scorer with 61, while Shannon Rayner added 20. Jones, who led the Willicots batting, also led their bowling, taking 3 for 22 off of 6 overs. In other Premier Division action, it was St. David's Cricket Club winning by 129 runs over St. George's Cricket Club. Scores: St. David's Cricket Club 195 for 6, St. George's Cricket Club 66 all out. Bayliss Bay won by 24 runs over Cleveland County. Bayliss Bay scored 173 for 7, and Cleveland County were bowled all out for 149. In First Division play, Western Stars won by 1 wicket over Flats Victoria in a low-scoring affair. Flats were bowled all out for 83, and Western Stars scored 84 for 9. On Saturday, Western Stars won by 56 runs over the Bermuda under-17 national team. Western Stars were bowled out for 167. They bowled the Bermuda under-17 national team all out for 111. The Bermuda Bicycle Association's Road Race Championships took place. They began and ended in Prospect. Shannon Lawrence powered his way around the final lap of the Open Mayo 100K event, with his main rival, Dominique Mayo, getting a flat at the start of the last circuit. The women's 60K event, Phil Mitchell outdueled defending champion Karen Bardage and April Gladys Joyce, with Mitchell taking the title. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
That should do it. Enjoy your new shower.
Experience the bold look of Kohler at a Kohler registered showroom.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend, and welcome to tonight's VSB weather forecast. Our weather shot is brought to us by Dennis Whitehead, taken at 11 this morning in Warwick, looking across South Shore. Thankfully, all the showers have passed us from yesterday. Smooth sailing into Monday, not looking so bad. Not a manic Monday. Beautiful day, nice calm winds, flat water, and just a few clouds in the sky. Thank you, Dennis, for sending in this gorgeous shot. Temperatures for today, we had a high of 80 at 2 in the afternoon and a low of 74 at 7 in the morning. Current conditions, 78 degrees, humidity 70%, winds east-northeast 8 to 12 knots, and barometric pressure is rising at 30.14 inches. Rainfall index for the month of June, 2.57 for a yearly total of 26.64. Yearly normal for this time, 26.58 inches. I'm taking a look at the satellite. High pressure sliding to the north-northeast maintains mainly fair and dry conditions through the week. Winds are expected to veer southeasterly later on Tuesday as the high center moves to the northeast. And taking a look at the gateway cities, Atlanta, partly cloudy, 92. Boston, partly cloudy, 89. Charlotte, partly cloudy, 92. London, 70, sunny. Miami, 88, thunderstorms likely. New York, 88, mostly cloudy. Orlando, mostly cloudy, 93. Philadelphia, mostly cloudy, 91. Toronto, possible thunderstorms, 81. And Washington, mostly cloudy and 93 degrees. Back at home tonight, partly to mostly cloudy with a low near 74. Winds easterly 10 to 15 knots. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high near 82. Winds east-southeast 10 to 15 knots, and then veering southeast in the evening. Marine tonight, no warnings. Seas inside the reef 0 to 1 foot. Seas outside the reef 2 to 4 feet, and the sea surface temperature is 81 degrees. Marine tomorrow, no warning. Seas inside the reef 0 to 1 foot. Seas outside the reef 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will be at 6:07 in the morning, and high tide will be at 11:58 in the morning. And taking a look at the 5-day forecast. Wednesday, mix of sun and cloud, high near 82. Thursday, mix of sun and cloud, high near 83. Friday, sunny periods, high near 83. And Saturday, sunny breaks, 1 or 2 overnight showers with a high near 85. Thank you to Michelle Pitcher, our meteorologist for tonight, and everyone at the Bermuda Weather Service. I'm Rachel Sodden. Have a great evening. We thank you for choosing to spend your evening with us at VSB TV 11. Have a great week ahead of you. Good night, Bermuda.
Wardrobe and makeup for Rachel Sodden, provided by Gibbons Company.
VSB TV 11, Bermuda.